You know what's hedge clippers? You know, hedge clippers come in basically, you know, I don't know if I want to call it 4 different styles. You know, your standard style, single-sided, double-sided. Your shafted versions, in a fixed or in a articulating style, style hedge clipper. Okay. Again, we touched on, you know, the engine maintenance of it, filtration, oil, you know, the commonality. Everything basically is the same across the board. Okay. One thing about hedge clippers is, you know, of course, it's like a chainsaw. The blades, you know, the blades are the most dangerous, you know, part of the machine out there. I've caught myself hedge clipping at home in the pants, and let me tell you, it wakes you up. You know, it takes a split second, and you know, you're out there, you're hedging, you know, you're clearing, you know, you're just doing a straight line, or if you're shaping or whatnot, you're not paying attention, and you know, you catch your pants and you go, holy smokes, what just happened? You know, granted, they just put a hole in my jeans and didn't cut me, but today's hedge clipper blades, you know, they're a lot sharper than they were in the past. These ones that Echo makes now they're actually laser cut, precision ground. You run your finger on it now, it'll cut you. You know, the big thing about hedge clippers is it's simple maintenance. You know, you want to keep your blades lubricated. Use a environmental safe kind of lubricant spray. You know, you don't want to put like WD-40, anything like that, where you're going to cause damage to hedges. And the other big one is greasing your gearbox. Okay. Depending on your usage, how much you're using, it could be every 2 days, it could be once a week. But basically, all you want to put in this gearbox is the amount of white lithium grease is the amount that you put on your toothbrush. So it's very little. Okay, you don't want to put this on the Zerk fitting and start cranking grease in there until you start blowing out seals. Okay, it's very little. All you're doing is replacing that grease that's been burnt off. Okay, so on the average, once a week, put a squirt in there, and you're off and running for the next run. Okay, but you know, like talked about blades, you know, as being the most dangerous part of it. A lot of you know, commercial guys have gone to some sort of shafted version of it. You know, we want to keep that blade away from the user. Okay, now whether it's an articulating style, whether it's a short shaft version of it, we're keeping that blade away from the user. Okay. And do you guys use standard? Do you guys use shafted, or how do you?
We have ones like that, but the rest are all standard.
All standards, yeah. But you know, it's again, you know, it's all safety precautions that we're trying to do here. Is, you know, is again keeping the blades away from the customer or the user.
From a maintenance point of view on the blades and the gearbox, how would you say, you know, because you cut a hedges and all that sap is getting on them, you know, you start losing the sharpening on the blades. And
yeah.
How would you say?
There's, you know, it's sharpening the blades. You can do 2 things. The sap itself, I find if you actually get a 5-gallon bucket and you stick the blade in there and throttle up, it'll actually help clean off the blades.
With water or so?
With just water. Just water. Just water. Sharpening, basically, I mean, some guys use grinders, some guys use Dremel, some use a hand file. It's across the board of how you want to do it. The key to it is not to take the temper out of the metal. Okay, don't overheat the blade. Okay, so if you are using a grinder or some type of, you know, power tool, you know, don't overheat it. Do one pass, go to the next one, do another pass, you know, so on. Then come back and do it again. So, you know, again, we don't want to take the temper out of it. That's the trick of it right there. And then, you know, of course, once they get down to a certain level, it's time to replace them and go again. But you know, blades are a wear item. You know, they do wear. You know, that's, you know, they're not going to last forever. So Another cool trick that Echo started putting on most of their hedge clippers now are these tip guards. You know, this has basically helped with people blowing out the gearboxes. We get a lot of guys who have low hedge clipping or low hedges, and then of course they want to run their you know, hedge clipper on the ground. And without that guard, right, you're getting that impact. All it's doing is basically a hammer effect on these gears in here, basically blowing gears. Because all you're doing is like hammer. I mean, you're, you know, boom, 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 all day long. So that tip guard really helps eliminate, you know, the impacting that that causes gearbox damage.
great.
Yeah. So.
And it happens.
It happens every day. It happens. Every day it happens. I mean, so, you know, just another feature that Echo has there.
And your handle down at the bottom, it says so that you have a better movement of the whole entire blade with the gearbox.
Correct.
Your handle.
Oh yeah. So, you know, the handle itself, you know, it's basically just so that you can adjust the different angles.
It's an adjustment.
It's an adjustment.
Yeah.
So if you're using, you know, if you're up against some hedges like this, or if you want to turn it, you know, and you're using some tall hedges like this, you know, you can get up there and cut with it too. So it's just the versatility of it,
Yes.
you know, gives you the options. So.
How long is this one? Because they're shorter.
Yeah, this one is, I believe the shaft is, so, I think this is 66 inches, so, you know, it's upwards of almost 8 feet, give or take, somewhere in that ballpark.
And this is what you call a shaft?
This is articulating shafted hedge clipper.
Articulated shaft.
Yeah. And then you have a standard shafted hedge clipper, which is just basically a shaft where the head itself, the gearbox, doesn't articulate. So it's just on here, okay? And then you have your standard single side, double hand style hedge clipper. Correct. So a lot of it's preference. Again, and then of course, you know, the safety, like I said, keeping those blades away from the user, because you know that's what's going to cause the damage, you know, cause the injuries.
So it's also a good idea not to lose this blade protector, right?
Correct.
So that's safety.
Correct. Yes. I mean, for safety reasons, yes, to always have that blade covered, you
Yeah.
know, at all times if you're not using it. It's no different than, you know, a chainsaw and having
Yeah.
the bar cover on or scabbard on there is making sure that it's, you know, covered. You know, if you're reaching, if you got the chainsaw in your truck and you're reaching in, you know, you can catch your arm, catch something, and you know, cut yourself. So, you know, you always want to keep your sharp blades covered to help, you know, reduce injuries.